the one, the only, Ben Sion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. Today we're doing Daf It Sotah, Daf Lamed number 30. It's a great share for you today. A little complicated. Tuma and Tara, everyone's favorite topic. Let's get right into it. The bottom of Chav Tet Amud Beis, about 6 lines from the bottom. Maskil Rav Papa. Rav Papa asked the following question. Rabbi Yochanan had tried to discount the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi's opinion was that the concept of Revi B'Kodesh, that Kodesh, Karbonos, could attain the status of a Revi B'Tuma, right? Basically a fourth descendant of Tuma, from an Abba Tuma, is controversial. According to Rabbi Yossi, he found that Makor. Rav Papa and Rabbi Yochanan called Rabbi Yossi's Makor into question, is his source into question. So Maskir Rav Papa. Rav Papa asked the following question on Rabbi Yochanan. Why did Rabbi Yossi Karabanan severely? Rabbi Yochanan's proof was from a Brisa that seemingly followed the opinion of the Rabbanan, who said that there's no such thing as a Revi B'Kodesh. Dilma Abba Shal's really. Maybe it holds like the first Tan of the Brisa we mentioned yesterday, who says Abba Shal's opinion that says there is a concept, the Amar Latame Lishnayim Lifsal Echad, right? That has the ability, something which is an Abba Tuma, right? A Rishon Tuma can make something a Sheni and then a Shalishi. And it can be possible, it can make like even a Revi. The Revi can't be Matami something else, but the Revi is possible. As far as Yisak Adaita Abba Shal, it's really more answers. If you hold like he holds like Abba Shal, Laisi the Revi, but Kodesh Ma'ochel Shabbat Machmas Full Yom. He didn't have to bring it from Mechusar Kippurim, the source of Rabbi Yossi, to learn. It's from a Kal Machal V'Chomer. There's a Revi Kodesh from Mechusar Kippurim. Basically, someone who has yet to bring his korban, a zav or a zava gedola, or someone who's tamei mace. On the 8th day, they have to bring a korban. On the 8th day, before bringing the korban, they call him Mechusar Kippurim. He should have brought it from a different source. Ma'ocha, if you had like Abba Shal didn't bring it from the Abba Shal, says that a food, which is a rishon, mitami something that's sheni, mitami something that's shlishi, mitami ravi, right? Ma'ocha shabal machmas tzful yom. Ma'ocha bal machmas tzful yom. A tzful yom, someone who went to the mikvah but not heard of shemesh yet, right? He touches an ochel. The tzful yom gufe mutar b'chulin. The tzful yom himself is allowed to have chulin. He's allowed to eat chulin, which is meiser sheni, even if it's meiser sheni. He's allowed to eat that. Amar to Osa Revi B'Kodesh. According to Abba Shol, it would make a Revi B'Kodesh. Ochel Shlishi Abba Machma Sheni the Sheni Gufe Osir B'Chulin top of Lamed Amin Aleph. Ain't no din Osa Revi B'Kodesh. A Shlishi which comes from a Sheni, not connected to a Tul Yom, but a Shlishi, a food which is a Sheni touches a Shlishi, right? Which would be Osir B'Chulin, so it should make a Revi B'Kodesh. Maybe you'll tell me you can't learn it from over there. Yeah, you can't learn from a Tzful Yom, because a Tzful Yom is still really an Avatuma. He's not really, until he goes till the hair of Shemesh, and if he is Mechuyev doing a korban, he's still an Avatuma, right? I can't bring a proof to an Ochel, which is a Rishon or a Sheni Latuma. I see name Mechusar Kippurim. Yossi himself brought it from Mechusar Kippurim. It's also an Avatuma. Right before he brings the korban. V'lo pircha, he didn't ask this question. Amar Rav Asi, Amar Rav, Amar Rav about Beinisi, Amar Rav. Rav Meir, Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Lazar, Rabbi Lezer, Kulu Sril Lahu Dein Sheni Osa Shlishi B'Chulin. This is a related topic. Question is, a food which is a sheni couldn't make it a shlishi. Now, a shlishi normally does not have any ramifications. There's a shlishi b'truma. Truma could be a shlishi, and therefore it could be usher for a kohen to eat something which is tummy, which is a shlishi. But b'chulin, do we find that by chulin something could be a shlishi, right? So they all have the opinion that it can't become a shlishi, right? It's only relevant to people that are nizhar to eat their chulin b'tara, right? Even though you don't have to make sure your chulin can be tummy, you don't have to eat chulin is tummy. The only problem is truma or challah, that can't be tummy. A kohen can't eat those, but a chulin anyone's allowed to eat even though it's tummy. But some people were careful even to eat chulin, they were makbid to eat a betara, chulin to eat betara. So therefore, maybe it could become tamei shlishi, and therefore those people would be nizar, would be careful not to eat it. However, these Tanaim hold that's not possible. Rav Meir, so the Gemara is going to list all the proofs. Rav Meir does not call it ton bios mayim divrei sofrim metamei es hakodesh uposel es hatruma umuter b'chulin u'maiser. Sometimes you need to go to the mikveh midrabanan. right? Not all. Sometimes you have a tuma d'oraisa, and sometimes you have a tuma d'rabbanan. For example, the Gemara in Shabbos, sometimes it relates certain instances where your tummy only d'rabbanan, your Torah midoraisa, tummy d'rabbanan, right? So, kol tamid as mami d'risof from metames hakodesh, he metames hakodesh who posel as truma, umoter bechulin u'maiser, divrei meir racham osrin b'maiser. So according to Rabbi Meir, you'd be mutter b'chulin. So you're tamei midrabanan. So if you touch something, you only passel the truma. You only make a truma shlishi, and metames hakodesh, you would make something a shlishi, a kodesh. You can make it a shlishi to make it a ravi, and truma you can make it a shlishi. So you see, this is talking about sheni making a shlishi, right? The kodesh is tamei because kodesh can reach the status of a ravi, and truma can only reach the status of a sheni. However, chulin u'maiser, chulin, regular chulin, people are nizar and chulin, maiser sheni, which you have to be careful. Even a Yisrael has to be careful to eat maiser sheni, not betuma. It doesn't apply to them. And even the Rabbanan, osir and maiser, even though they say the osir and maiser, that's only talking about a tummy person who touched maiser. However, that's only talking about if he's telling me the Rabbanan to eat Meiser Sheni, but the Rabbanan don't agree that you make the Meiser Sheni into a Shlishi. Rabbi Yossi had Amr. Rabbi Yossi, as we said before, right? The fact that he doesn't he doesn't hold like Abba Shaul, he holds like the Rabbanan. That's why Rabbi Yochanan was able to ask a question from him, shows that he doesn't hold a Sheni or a Shlishi. The say Laishi the Ravi B'Trum of Chamisha V'Kodesh. If he did hold that way, then right, he can learn from Mechutz Kippurim that a Sheni makes a Shlishi, B'Chulin. And then you one level up in Truma. So Truma would go to Ravi. And in Kodesh, you go to Chamishi. Rabbi Yeshua does not. Lezer Omer, Ochel Rishon. Sheni. It's a Mishnah, which is quoted in Maseches Taros. So says, if you eat food which is a Rishon, your body becomes a Rishon. If you eat food which is a Sheni, your body becomes a Sheni. Shlishi. If you eat food which is a Shlishi. Right? Again, which is only applicable by Chul and Jnas Taras HaKodesh. So then you come to Shlishi. Rishon, Omer, Ochel Rishon. Ochel Sheni. Shlishi Sheni Bakodesh Ein Sheni B'Truma. Rishon argues. He says if you're a Shlishi, right, meaning you touch something which is a Sheni, so you make something, your body becomes a Sheni for Kodesh, but not for Truma. B'Chulin Shenasu Altaras Truma. Altaras Truma in Altaras HaKodesh Lo. So he's only talking about chulin that people sometimes were nizar, right? Yisraelim were nizar to treat chulin like truma. Some people were nizar even treated like kodesh. So it only applies to chulin altaras truma. Altaras truma in altaras kodesh lo. Alma kasavra ain't sheni osa shlishi, right? Because in order for it to reach the level of kodesh, the sheni would have to make it a shlishi, to metamit, to make it a shlishi. And you see, he's not worried about that. Only about chulish nasal taras truma, then it would make if you're a shlishi, you would make the food you ate a sheni, but not to the point that that a sheni would make something into a shlishi. Right? He was only talking about taras truma and taras hakodesh. By chulin, a sheni doesn't make a shlishi. Right? It makes it a shlishi by kodesh, but chulin not. Reb Lezer Destanya, Reb Lezer Omer Shlashtan Shavin. Three things are similar: Harishon, Sheba Kodesh, Sheba Chulin, Sheba Truma. If Kodesh means Basar Kodjem is a Rishon, or Chulin is a Rishon, or Truma is a Rishon. Matame Shnayim Upost Alechad. It makes something tummy in two steps, and it's postal in one step. But Kodesh Matame Echad Upost Alechad. But Truma Upost Alechad Bechulin. The Kodesh Matame Echad, Upos Alecha B'Truma, Upos Alecha B'Chulin. Now, when it comes to the Rishon, right, if it's Kodesh, so it becomes Tame, makes it into a Sheni, which has the ability to make a Shlishi, right? Upos Alecha B'Truma, meaning if a Rishon touches a Sheni, it's puzzle, it only reaches a state of Sheni for a Truma. Posel echa b'chulin, and it has can go one level up in chulin, right, from a rishon to a sheni. But from sheni to shlishi, it wouldn't apply. Lezer, it's not. Lezer Omer, chala nitelas min haTorah al tzmei. Even though the Chum argue, and they say you can't take, you can't take chala from tahor al tamei. Lezer says you could. There's a way of doing it. Ketzad shnei isos. You have 2 loaves of bread or 2 doughs. Echad tahor of echad tamei. One is tahor, one's been touched by something tamei. How do you do this? Notal kidei chalam isa shalahorma chulasa. You take some dough that yet has not been taken challah. It's a requisite amount of dough that need to take challah off. But no saying pachas mikabetza be'emsa, and you put that challah next to it, and then not touching the tamei. But then you take no saying pachas mikabetza be'emsa k'di little bit on mukav, and then you put less than a kabetza of dough in between to connect the tamei dough and this dough which has not been taken off challah. It has kidei challah also, but it hasn't been taken. It's like tevel. It hasn't taken off challah. And you join them together with dough which is pachos mikabesa, because kabesa is transmits tuma by ochlin, top of laminate base. V'cham say you can't do this. V'tanya, the Brayta says kabeta savrua kabeta. The Brayta says it's not. The Brayta says it wasn't less than kabeta. Even a kabeta, which is a matame, which can convey tuma, you could still use a kabetza. Savrua. So what are they arguing about? What are the Chum and Rebbe arguing about? Idi be'isa rishona. We're talking about a dough which is tameh. It's a rishona, a tashanava tuma. The chulin atvul and the chala lo kechalu dami. And chulin, right, which is the isa, the bread, which has not yet been taken off chala from it, it's not like chala. My lab hakim, aren't they arguing about the following thing? The mar savar ein sheni also shlishi b'chulin. The reason Rebbe allows you to do that is because what happens? Your dough that's tameh was touched by a rishon tuma, or was a rishon, and now it touches this piece of dough which is a kabetza, which can transmit to, which becomes a sheni, and there's no problem according to Rebbe because the sheni can't make the one that it touches a shlishi, and the Rabbanan says it could. That's why I say you can't do that. Amar of Mari Bar Breder of Kahana, the Kuli Alma ain't shaying also shlishi b'chula. Really, actually, one could argue, even Rabbi Lezer would agree, ain't shaying also shlishi b'chula. V'acha b'chula and atvul nechala kamifli. They're arguing about something else. This dough, right, is tevel in terms of it. Chala is yet to be taken from it. Mar savar kechala damu. One opinion holds it's like chala, and chala you have to be careful not to eat it when it's tummy. Umar savar lo kechala damu. The reason Lezer is not makbid over here. Really, ain't shein else shlishi. The reason the Rabbanan are machmir is because they treat it like challah, and challah, even when it's a sheni, you can't eat it. Challah is given to a kohen, and he has to be nizr not to eat it betuma. But in terms of Yisrael eating chula, and no one holds a sheni else shlishi. A third way of understanding machlok is the chulei alma chulin atulim the challah lo challah. Everyone agrees it's not like challah. There's no restrictions for a kohen eating with tuma. But ain't sheni else shlishi b'chulin. No one would hold a sheni makes a shlishi b'chulin. Even the Rabbanan would agree. Even Rebbe would agree to that. Even the Rabbanan would agree to that. V'hacha b'mutar ligron tuma l'chulin she'eretz Yisrael kamif. Here we're talking about a different thing. Are you allowed to matame chulin in Eretz Yisrael? In Chutz La'aretz, apparently it's not a problem. In Eretz Yisrael, we'll have to discuss in Ibn Ben Sion why is that. You can't either Rashi. There's a Rashi, the Art Scroll quotes. There's 2 Rashis, one in Maseches Gittin and one in Maseches Avodah Zarah. The Rashi in Gittin says it's Asur Midrabbana because some people were nizar to eat their chulin b'tara, and the other reason is that it's like since it could be used potentially for challah, so therefore challah can't become tameh, so therefore you can't be gorim tuma, just like you can't be gorim tuma mishmeres trumasi. We learned this many times that there's the mitzvah's essay to safeguard truma. Not just that you can't consume truma while it's tameh or you're tameh, you also can't cause truma to become tameh. That's a mitzvah's essay, mishmeres trumasi. So challah is like truma; it's included in that. I'm going to give you my explanation, a third explanation, and Ibn Ben Sion why it would be asur ligrom tuma to challah in Eretz Yisrael. Mar savar mujar ligrom tuma l'chulin in Eretz Yisrael. Mar savar, according to Rebbe, it's okay. because Umar Savar Asr Ligrom Tuma Lechul and Sheretz Yisrael, and the Rabbanan say you can't do that because you can't cause Tuma to Chul in Eretz Yisrael. We'll talk about the reason why, my personal reason why. I'll give you an Ian what I've been saying. Baba Yom Darash Rabbi Akiva. So Machlok is quoted in the Mishnah. Rabbi Akiva Darshan, right? The question is the Ari Leviim. One pasuk says they had 1,000 amos outside of it, and one pasuk says they had 2,000 amos. So Rabbi Akiva's way of resolving the difficulty is saying 2,000 amos is the Tchum Shabbos, 1,000 amos is the Migrash. And the other opinion says no, 1,000 amos is the Migrash, 2,000 amos, basically 1,000 amos is the Migrash, is an open area, and 1,000 amos, which combine the 2,000 amos, the second 1,000 amos is for Sadus Ukramim, to plant vineyards and orchards. Michael goes to Machlokes. Marsavar Tchumen Daraisa. Rabbi Akiva held Tchumen are from the Torah. That's why he resolved it that way. Marsavar Darabanan, and the other opinion held Darabanan. That's why I give a different explanation. Tana Rabbanan. Boba Yom Darash Rabbi Akiva. B'Shasha Alu Yisrael Min Yam. When Klal Yisrael came out of Yamsuf, Nasno Inayim Lomar Shira. They wanted to say Shira to Hashem. B'Keitzad Amru Shira. How do they do it? A gadol, a person who's above 13 years old, is leading halal. Learn the Masechah Sukkah, right? The correct way for saying halal. What the Chazan says, when people say after. Moshe Amar Ashir Hashem. For example, Moshe would say Ashir Hashem. They would say Ashir. They would repeat Ashir Hashem. Moshe Amar Ki Ga Ga. Ashir Hashem. They would basically repeat every time Moshe said something. They repeat Roshi Prakim, the beginning. No, it's like a minor who's leading the halal. You can't be Yotzi with a katan, so they have to repeat. They didn't have the text written down, so they repeated whatever he said. Moshe Amar Ashir Hashem. Moshe Amar Ki Ga Ga. They just basically repeated after Moshe. Nechemia Omer Kisofer Aporis Halashma. A third explanation. It's like a rabbinical scholar who's Porish al Shema. He's saying Kriya Shema, the Beis HaKnesses. So he's leading from Baruch, right? Sometimes Porish al Shema, we talk about Mesachas Megillah, right? If you come late to Shul, you can start from Baruch, basically. And a person leads it. It's Davar Sheba Kedusha. Beis HaKnesses. Shu Poseach Tchila V'heino Nacharav. He just starts Ashir al Hashem, and they just continue. They say after him. They don't repeat after him. They just say the rest of the parsha. The Michael Mifli, what's the through Machlokas? What's the explanation? Rikiva Savar, Lamor, it says, Ashir Hashem, Lamor, they say, saying, Amilsa Kamaisa. They would repeat, they would respond on the first thing that he said. Whenever he said something new, they would say Ashir Hashem. Lamor, Akol Milsa Misa. Lamor means on everything that he said, they repeat it. Nechemia Savar, Yomru, De Amor, Kulu Bahade Adade. Lamor the pasuk Moshe Bereisha. Yomru, it says also Yomru in the pasuk. They all said it together, right? They said it in unison together. They didn't repeat after one person leading or repeating, but it says Lamor. So what did you do with Lamor? That means Moshe started Ashir Hashem, and the rest they just said together, each to themselves. They wanted to say Shira. The case of Amru Shira, even everyone wanted to say Shira. Even have an infant on the knees of the mother was holding the infant, or the tinok is nursing from his mother. Once they saw the Shechina, the presence of Hashem, after they came out from the Yamsuf, the infant would raise up his neck. He would release the breast of the mother from his mouth. They would say, "This is Hashem, our God." Is the pasuk, I believe it's in Tehillim. It's in Tehillim. Even from infants and yokim, even from nursing children, they would establish strength for Hashem. Meir would say, how do you know even pregnant ladies, the fetuses in the mother's womb, they said Shira at that time. Shemar Makelos Baruchu, top of Laman Aleph and Aleph, Makelos Baruchu Lakim Hashem Kar Yisrael. Makelos is the congregation of Klal Yisrael. They bless him, even Makor Yisrael, even from the Makor. The Makor is the source. What's the source? The source is the womb where life comes from. I'm not going to read the parentheses because we don't read parentheses according to me, according to the way I was taught, even though the article seems to include this. That'll be the conclusion of today's share. Stay tuned for Ian Ben Sion, where I talk about this discussion about, are you allowed to mimatame something in Eretz Yisrael? Apparently there's some Isser, according to the Rabbanon, we hold like to be Gorem Tuma in Eretz Yisrael. We'll talk about that, my explanation, Yonat Ben Sion, coming up next.